When I told you how to solve this kind of question, I told you that first you have to go to the words to find the function. So as a result, cause and effect. Similarly, agreement. However, contradiction. In conclusion, it's a conclusion, not addition. In conclusion, it's a conclusion or sum up, not addition. So let me delete this. Sum up, conclusion. So let's find now, because we don't have one that agree with the other, look at the sentence before and sentence after to decide what the relation between them. It has long been thought that human first crossed a land bridge, the first thought, into the America approximately 13,000 years ago. So the first time that human crossed a land bridge to the America, 13,000 years ago. Based on radiocarbon dating of samples uncovered in Mexico, a research team recently suggested that human may have arrived more than 30,000 years ago. Not 13, it's 30. Much earlier than previously thought. So there's a contradiction. Contradiction. After. In fact, emphasize. In fact, emphasize.
مستر
Yes.
الحين لازم اقعد اقسمهم يعني كل واحده كوز او
ايوه
كونتراديكشن
طبعا
ولا
لازم
انا
تحفظ.
مرات بحس obvious يعني تكون واضحه الشغله يعني ما بحتاج
Okay.
يعني مثلا
If it's obvious for you, but I'm talking about people because sometimes, as I told you, in level 1 and level 2, we're going to use the elimination, Ahmed.
اوكي
Okay. In other words, okay, in other words actually has a many of things. Like it's gonna be a kind of rephrase, and as better actually to make it rephrase. 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 Granted emphasizing. Granted emphasizing. As a result, cause and effect. So if you're gonna look here, you are gonna find that in fact emphasizing and granted emphasizing. So like that, I must delete them together. Do you remember? But you're not going to delete. Just put them aside. Put them aside to find out that if they work or not. If they don't work, so one of them, I'm sorry, if the, in other words, as a rephrase or as a result, cause and effect doesn't work, so we're going to take from in fact or granted. Let's find here. Take a sentence before and sentence after. He said the study found that the greater the iconicity of a sign, what does it mean? The more likely it was to have been learned acquisition. The other one, the correlation between acquisition and iconicity was lower than that between acquisition and another factor studied, that is sign frequency. Okay, it's not a rephrase. It's not a rephrase, and it's not cause and effect. So now it's a kind of emphasizing. Whether in fact or granted. In fact or granted. In fact, it can give me a kind of addition for the words. And here it's not addition. Here it's not addition. So it's better to say a kind of emphasize to show the relationship between iconicity and other two variables. Whether acquisition or sign frequency. So granted. Number 3, by contrast, contradiction, granted, emphasizing, that is explanation. Similarly, agreement. Okay, let's look at sentence before and sentence after. As you can find here, actually, we can consider the semicolon that it's between two sentences. The semicolon between two sentences. So here and here, he said in his poetry, he used heartfelt language. Heartfelt language to evoke the beauty and peacefulness of his natural surrounding. The second one, in his journalism, it's opposite to poetry. He employed humor and satire, different from heartfelt language. So here, it's a kind of contradiction to comment on political issue affecting his Muskogee Greek community. After, nevertheless, contradiction. In any case, exemplification, as a result, cause and effect, earlier, sequence, take a sentence before and sentence after. Here from that one. O2 Arena, an award-winning science fiction story by Nigerian author Ogchuvi Donald Ikepi, takes place in an alternate version of Nigeria where breathable air is a rare commodity that is owned and sold by companies. Sold, so the air will be sold and owned by companies, or owned and sold by companies, he really said people must purchase it with currency called O2. Yes, if it's gonna be owned and sold, so we have, as a result, we have to purchase it. Cause and effect. Number 5, alternatively, contradiction. Consequently, cause and effect. Ultimately, it can be agreement or emphasize. Additionally, addition. Let's take a sentence before and sentence after. He said, when one looks at the dark ragey vista in Hitoshi Vogo evocative photo series, one's mind might wander off. Imagine to the creature services of faraway planets. Then after the sentence after, he said, it's the series title Flying Frying Pan. The series title is Flying Frying Pan. So they are not actually planets. That brings one back to Earth. Bring one back to Earth, reminding the viewer that each photo is actually a close-up view of a familiar household object, a frying pan. Some people are going to say that this contradiction, alternatively, unfortunately not. Because here he said wander off. Imagine. So this emphasizing. So they are ultimately, they are not frying, they are not planets, they are frying pan. Number 6, regardless, contradiction. On the contrary, contradiction. Consequently, cause and effect. For example, exemplification. So put regardless and on the contrary aside, look at consequently, or for example, let's look at sentence before and sentence after. He said before the 1847 introduction of the U.S. postage stamp, the cost of postage was usually paid by the recipient of a letter rather than the sender, and the recipient were not always able or willing to pay promptly. Okay, so like I want to send a letter for Hussam, and I'm not going to pay. Hussam is the one that's going to pay. Collecting this fee from Hussam now could be slow and arduous, and heaps of unpaid for undeliverable mail piled up in post office. Why? Because Hussam is not going to pay. So consequently. In other words, as we said, rephrase. Similarly, agreement. Therefore, cause and effect by comparison. Comparison or sure contradiction. Sentence before, sentence after. The number of dark spots that appear on the sun, known as sunspots, can vary greatly. For example, there were about 180 sunspots in November. Oh, I'm sorry, not these, the sentences here. Here and here. So there were about 180 sunspots in November 2001. There were only about 2 sunspots in December 2008. So 182. So by comparison, contradiction. Number 8, as a result, cause and effect. On the other hand, contradiction. This is easy, level 1. In spite of this, contradiction. On the contrary, contradiction. So put the contradiction together, put them aside, find cause and effect. It will work or not. Here he said the vast number of species found in Madagascar stems from the fact that it has been cut off from other land masses for 80 million years. Then after that he said the island has been an ideal setting for allopatric speciation, a process in which geographically isolated populations of the same species evolve independently. So because this kind of island is away, so as a result, this will lead them to evolve independently. So as a result. Number 9, at
Can you
that
repeat it,
time.
please?
Yes, Ahmed.
Repeat it again. Explain,
Again,
please.
here he talk about that this kind of island actually stem from the land. It's away. It's a kind of island in the ocean, no land next to it. And this island actually was stemmed from other land masses. It's a kind of land that cut from other land masses. So it had the same species. But because those species are away right now, so evolved independently. So as a
Why
result.
can't I say on the other hand, the Iceland has been ideal? Any
But here it's contradiction. What's the contradiction here? Yeah, it would be ideal actually for that because it's cut off from the other land. Clear?
okay. Yes.
Number 9, at that time it can be agreement or sequence. Moreover, addition. For instance, exemplification and contrast, contradiction. Let's take a sentence before and sentence after. This is actually level 3. He said the dome top of the rotunda, it's a kind of library, or it's a kind of university, contained a library stocked with 7,000 books, selected by Jefferson himself, while the area beneath include the floors of oval classroom. Here he said, such a prominent placement of the rotunda was a marked departure from other university design on that time. On that time, that was actually something unusual, strange, extraordinary, which generally featured chapel for the training of clergy. So at that time, it was different. Number 10, in contrast, contradiction, as a result, cause and effect. Moreover, addition, for instance, exemplification. Let's take a sentence before and sentence after. A sentence before and sentence after. Here he said, the sentence before, okay. Interestingly, the research is beginning to suggest that humans may play a prominent role in the spread of the fungus, as the distance between infected caves often exceed the typical migratory patterns of bad populations. So take care. So they think that the human is the main cause of this kind of spreading fungus because the distance are far away to let actually bats migrate from one cave to another. So what they're gonna do, the USDA Forest Service has mandated a 5-year closure of caves and mines in 13 states and has seized all spelunking activity. So because of that, they stop. So as a result, they close all caves. Okay, that was for the transition. Today, actually, we're gonna go to the last skill of domain 3. The last skill of domain 3. And the last skill of domain 3 is one of the easiest skill, and it will come at the end of the test. The module that you're gonna take it, the real one. It's called synthesis, rhetorical synthesis. I'm gonna show you the question first, just to have a kind of fear from that kind of question, and I'm gonna tell you that how to can answer this kind of question in just seconds. In just seconds. Let me send for you the answer key for this one first.
Mr. For each question I have about a minute صح؟ بس
1 minute 20 seconds.
Okay.
But we have our own way to solve. I'm gonna tell you by the end. Okay? Like in the advance, I'm gonna show you how to answer the question by order from where to where, just to save time and manage your time easily. Okay, I'm gonna send for you right now this kind of file. I sent for you the file in the group. And now is the file for rhetorical synthesis, the last skill of domain 3. Okay. This kind of question, actually, I call it the longest question. Why? Because it includes introduction, it includes bullet facts, it includes a question, the same question, and it includes the choices. Let's have a look at the question. What do you think? Who can imagine how we can answer a question like that? يلا I want to hear from you. عاوز اسمع منكم ازاي نحل question زي ده.
This is a question.
Yes. It's called rhetorical synthesis. It has introduction, bullets, the question, and the choices. يا سلمى ايه الاخبار؟ نحله ازاي السؤال ده يا سلمى؟
مش عارفة بصراحة، أنا شفته كتير أوي على فكرة واتخضيت أوي. سؤال
طيب
مستفز.
تخيلي بقى السؤال ده هيبقى احلى سؤال عندك، هتموتي فيه.
ده طويل أوي.
والله هتموتي فيه، اصبري بس. ندى, what do you think? How can we answer a question like that?
I think we have to read the question first.
So you know
And
from
like,
Najib. You know from Najib.
no, wallah, no.
Okay.
Wallah, I don't. But I
Okay.
took it one time in we had a
Okay.
SAT session.
Okay. Tell me. Yalla, complete. Huh? What you're gonna do?
So first of all,
Uh-huh.
when I saw the question, I was so scared.
Uh-huh.
But I asked my teacher, she was like, skip those points and then read the question
Uh-huh.
and then look for the answer in these points. And you don't have to read the whole thing.
Okay. I'm gonna change a little bit in what you said. Okay.
Okay.
Actually what Nada said is right. بس المدرسة دي ما خدتش الطريقة بتاعتي كلها. أخدت جزء منها. What I'm gonna look at is the question only. Question only. Then the choices here. I'm not gonna look up. I'm not gonna look up at all. Except in level 3. Where, how am I gonna know that this level 3? If I find that two answers can be applicable. If I find that two answers are gonna be applicable. In that case, I'm gonna look up. In other cases, wallahi, I'm not gonna look up. Okay, teacher, show us how that one. Here, I need only the goal. What he wants, you're gonna find it here. He wants to emphasize a similarity between two works only. Bring from the answers down similarity between two works. اهي يا سلمى. Similarity between two works. Let's find which one. احنا واخدين طبعا similarity there in transition. How to find the similarity. Okay. Era Shore, it looked like it's a work. 2008 uses discard objects such as audio cassette tapes and magnets. Homegrown 2019, however, it's contradiction, no similarity. However, it's contradiction, no similarity. So it's not that. Like many of tops, and take care. Now we know from the answer that Era Shore is one of the work, homegrown is the other one. Like many of top sculpture, both Era Shore and homegrown include discarded object. Era Shore use edu cassette tapes and homegrown use plastic forks. Yes, here it shows similarity. The word similarity in word both. Let's look at C. Top's work, which often featured discarded object, has been shown both within the United States and abroad. Here he mentioned both. But I need similarity between two works, not similarity between two countries. Top's completed Era Shore in 2008 and Homegrown in 2009. They are different years. So the answer is B. ايه رايك يا احمد؟
لوك دقيقة.
سلمى ايه رايك؟
كيوت. بس سؤال، هو انا لو لقيت الاجابه الصح لازم برضو ادور بعدها ولا
لا
خلاص
لا
اوقف؟
خلاص، في ساعات بقى تغلط في، هيكون في اجابتين صح، فلو في اجابتين بنطلع للبوينتس.
ماشي.
اوكي حسام،
ماشي.
what do you think؟
سؤال طويل بس.
I'm talking about the way of answering right now. ها
مم.
اوكي قباني.
لا سهلة مستر.
ندى.
only level 3 I should look upward.
Level 3 you're gonna find that there are two answers that can be accepted here. Okay.
Okay.
ندى.
والله easy.
رهف.
Nice.
Okay. Let's look at number 1. Solve it. To look up what he wants here. To introduce the scientist. Take care. And her field of study. So number 1, I need to introduce a scientist and her field of study. For whom? Take care of that. To new audience. That means, because this will come many. New audience means that they don't know about the scientist or the field of study. So you have to talk more about them. If they are familiar audience, no, you're not going to talk more about them. But here he said new audience. So I need the scientist, her field of study, to a new audience. Write the answer, please. got the answer from Nada, from Hussam, from Qabbani, from Ahmed, from Salma, waiting for Rahaf. It's easy, Rahaf. All of you got it right. I'm waiting only for Rahaf. Perfect. Look, it doesn't take time. So I need to introduce the scientist and her field to whom? To a new audience. So talk more about the scientist and her field of study. Let's find the first one. Located in Brazil, the Amazon Reef is one of the largest known coral reefs in the world. Where is the scientist? If this is a field of study, where is the scientist? Nothing. Marine biologist Camel Jasmine Jonas studies coral reefs. This is the biologist, and he told us that she is marine. What is the coral reef? The field of study, vital underwater ecosystem that provide homes to 25% of all marine species. Yes, here he talk about the scientist and about the field of study to a known audience, to new audience. Providing homes to 25% of all marine species, including up to 8,000 species of fish. Coral reefs are vital underwater ecosystem and thus of great interest to marine biologists. Where, okay, he talked about the field of study and he took more. But where is the scientist? Nothing. As Casimil Jasmine Jonas knows well. No, I don't know her. I'm new audience. I don't know her. So knows well. Coral reefs are vital underwater ecosystem providing home to thousands of species of fish. Okay, here it's about the field of study. But he didn't talk more about the scientist. So the answer is B. Perfect, guys. Let's go to number 2. Take care. I'm going to help you also. What you want? To provide an explanation and an example of alloying landforms. So I need explanation and example of what? Of alloying landforms. Got the answer from Nada. From Ahmed. From Salma. From Hussam. From Rahaf. Waiting for Qabbani. All of you got it right. I'm waiting for Qabbani. Qabbani, where are you?
1 minute, please.
Okay, but it's easy. Do not take for you.
1 minute. I was solving another question.
No, we are number 2.
I was solving 3.
Okay. Quickly, Qabbani. Concentrate with me, please. Okay. All of you solved it right, alhamdulillah. So again, I want an explanation and an example of alloying landforms. Alloying landforms are created by different wind-based processes. Okay, this is the explanation for alloying landform. For example, some are created by wind erosion, but this is not an example for alloying landform. This is an example of the processes. So it's not. Erosion, transportation, and deposition are three examples of how the wind can create alloying landform and mushroom rocks. Maybe mushroom rocks is an example, but he didn't give us the explanation of alloying landforms. Alloying landforms, what are they? Landforms created by the wind include, example, the mushroom rock. What is the mushroom rock? A rock formation in which the wind erodes the base of the rock faster than the top. Perfect, thank you. A mushroom rock, there's an example, is a rock formation that owes its shape to the wind, a natural force associated with alloys in Greek mythology. Where is the explanation for alloying landforms? So the answer is C, as you mentioned. Perfect, guys. Let's go to number 3. I'm not going to help you in this one. Take care. Here the audience familiar with thermal inversion. So don't talk more about thermal inversion. Don't talk more about thermal inversion because they are familiar. I got the answer from Qabbani, from Rahaf. From Nada, from Salma. You start to be now one that prominent in answering this kind of question. From Hussam. What is most perfect? The third question in a row. You got it right. What he wants to present the study's findings to an audience already familiar with thermal inversion. So don't talk too much about thermal inversion. Why? Because they are familiar. But what he wants, the findings. Gas giants were likely to contain heat-absorbing metals when they feature a layer of atmosphere warmer than the layer beneath it. Researchers found this phenomenon is known as thermal inversion. This all is talk about thermal inversion. They are familiar. I know that he write finding by found, but he talk about thermal inversion. No, we don't need to talk more about thermal inversion. The team studied, he didn't say found, he said studied, and here I need findings. Thermal inversion in 25 gas giants, which are large composed of helium and hydrogen. No, I need find, I need found, I need finds. Researchers found the finding that the gas giant featuring a thermal inversion were likely to contain heat-absorbing metals, which may reside in the planet's upper atmosphere. Yes, here he talked about the finding, and he didn't talk more about thermal inversion. Heat-absorbing metals may reside in the planet's upper atmosphere. He didn't tell me anything about the findings. So the answer is C. Perfect. Let's go to number 4. We got it from Rahaf. From Nada. From Ahmed. From Qabbani. from Hussam, and from Salma. I told you start to be professional now. All of you got it right. What he wants to emphasize a difference between the two Muslims. Okay, let's find. Muslins can be used in a variety of ways, from making luxury clothing to upholstering furniture and creating backdrops for theater sets. Where are the difference now? It doesn't mention. You just tell us the function. Sheeting muslin, okay, is machine made, has a coarse wave, and is used for furniture and theater sets. Where is the other one? Nothing. Daka muslins is a handmade fabric with an extremely fine wave. While contradiction, differences. Sheeting muslin is machine made with a coarse wave. Yes, it shows the difference between two kind of muslins. Daka muslin and sheeting muslins are two different types of woven cotton fabric. No, this is better to show the contradiction between both of them. So the answer is C. Let's go to number 5. You're doing well, mashallah. Let's go to number 5. And take care. He said here, unfamiliar. Unfamiliar. I got the answer from Salma. From Ahmed. From Qabbani. From Nada. From Hussam. Waiting for Rahaf. All of you right. We are waiting for Rahaf. Easy Rahaf. Rahaf, where are you? Okay, perfect. Perfect. All of you. Again, what he wants to introduce Kahalu to an audience unfamiliar with the artist. Take care that Kahalu is the artist. So we need to talk more about the artist because they are unfamiliar. The audience unfamiliar. So the 1939 painting, the two Farida, is one example of a self-portrait by Farida Kahalu, but he didn't talk more about Farida Kahalu. He didn't talk more. He said that people don't know the artist. One painting by Farida Kahalu featured two versions of herself, with one virgin wearing a European-style dress and the other traditional Tahona dress. Again, he talked about the painting. He didn't talk about Farida Kahalu. Known for being vivid and richly symbolic, Farida Kahalu's self-portrait include the two Farida. Again, he talked about the portrait, not Farida Kahalu. One of the most influential artists of the 20th century, Mexican painter Farida Kahlo, is best known for her self-portrait, which are vivid and rich symbolic. Yes, here he took more about the artist. So the answer is D. The last question, number 6. You're doing well. I got the answer from Qabbani, from Salma. Who's using ChatGPT? I didn't read the name, unfortunately. Don't cheat yourself. Don't cheat yourself. Because in the test, you can't use any application. Any application that's going to be used while you are solving, you're going to find that your mark start to be actually dimmed. Your mark is not going to be shown, and there's going to be a big problem. It's going to be canceled 2 years. So I got from Kabbani, from Salma, from Rahaf. No, no, Hussam. If you are going to have two answers here, return back to the bullets. For Ahmed.
مستر انا غلط عشان لو غلط اغير الاجابه دلوقتي.
Just wait, Salma. Don't hurry.
ماشي.
From Nada. Waiting for Hussam. Nada change. Waiting for Hussam. Okay, all of you right? We're waiting only for Hussam. Okay. All of you right now? Let's find what you want. You want to present the primary aim of the research study. The goal. The aim means the goal of the research study. He said the researcher used laboratory models that simulated the arrangement of flexible sticks and analyzed the points where sticks touch one another. Is there a goal here? Does he mention any goal? He just talk about the processes that they are doing in the experiment. No. As analyzed by Busail's team, analyzed means the result. Bird nests are uniquely flexible yet cohesive. Engineer structure doesn't mention the goal, it mentioned the result. Busail's team wanted. What their goal? They want. What their goal? They want to better understand the mechanics behind bird nest, uniquely flexible yet cohesive structure properties. It's going to be right. The goal. After analyzing the points, after the results, not the goal, where stick touch, the researcher found, the result, that the structure became stiffer when pressure was applied. So the answer is C. Okay, we are done now with domain 3 completely. What will happen? We have a quiz. We have a quiz. I think the quiz for rhetorical synthesis doesn't have any problem to be solved right now.
So
هيبقى
when we
ده بس
have domain 3,
كمان.
واحد قولوا ايه؟ قول يا سلمى.
هيبقى معاه الترانزيشنز ولا ده بس كده
لا لا
لوحده؟
لا ده بس في امتحان المرة
ماشي.
الجاية الحصة الجاية على الدومين كله transition والrhetorical synthesis.
ماشي.
قول يا أحمد.
we will have level 3 in the exam or the quiz.
Yes, maybe. Start solving please. Start solving. You
في
have.
وقت.
لا 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 ما فيهوش وقت، احنا قلنا الوقت اما نخلص كل حاجة.
ماشي.
6 questions بس يا شباب. There are 6 questions only.